I'm back here, everybody. Welcome to the Dugout Crew. It is episode number 3. We're filming this on April 6th, 2023, but of course, we'll air this on Friday morning so that way everybody can get ready for the weekend of the games. Today, we have a little bit of a different episode here because, well, for one, I am back. Last week I was at the home. I was at opening day, not a home opener, opening day, the official opening day for the Red Sox, which unfortunately does. But we do this opening day every year, so it doesn't really surprise me. Um, I'm here with Eric Lima
Hello?
and Jason DeCanio.
Happy Holy Thursday to everybody. Yep.
And don't worry, I have a Red Sox shirt on. Is my favorite player. My favorite player.
What about you, Eric? Where's your guard today? Oh, I see the Red Sox in the background, the bedspread, so that'll count.
Yeah, that'll count. I wore my Super Mario shirt. I saw Super Mario Brothers movie yesterday. So
I heard that thing grossed $26 million already. Jeez.
My God.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it is a good movie then because
No, it was an animated one.
I talked a little bit about it. So
yeah.
And would like to explain, Eric, about the hint and tricks with no spoilers. You told me last night.
Yeah, Easter eggs, references. If you're a hardcore retro Nintendo gamer and Super Mario fan, you probably get them all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and Chester and Joey will not be here this episode because Joey has work, and Chester is not feeling well right now, so they both sent me their video clips, and we're good to go. They're both almost 5.5 minutes, so we'll showcase that segment later on in the show, as we normally do, give out reports of our teams, and we go from there. So, what is your guys' thoughts? Get this question out of the way. What is your thoughts on the pitch clock so far this season? Today's game with the Red Sox Tigers was 2.5 hours. I'm gonna start with which I'm glad because I got done listening to the game before we came on here. So what is your thoughts on the pitch clock? I'll start with Eric.
Well, so far it's been been working out. I mean, I know there's some people that like it, some people that don't. You got some like many fast workers. Kenley Jensen, as when he closed the game out for the Red Sox, is one of the fastest workers ever. So he probably has no problem with the pitch. It hasn't affected him a bit. And I think the only tricky thing about it is you have to watch your first or third base coaches for signs, and you have to read the signs. If you don't read the signs, you have to make sure that you get the signs down, but it's gonna be that's the only setback to the whole pitch clock thing. But so far it's been pretty good. We had some pitch clock violations here and there, and that's no big deal. I know we had one ejection from it.
Oh yeah, it was.
It doesn't surprise me. Kid's such a hothead. It's not even funny.
Yeah, and he's with his two teams are the Orioles and now the Padres for the next decade.
Actually, it was with the Dodgers. Remember, Chris Sale struck him out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody forgets the Dodgers for some reason with him, but it was the trend deadline in 2018. The Dodgers got him there, and the rest is history.
Yep.
But yeah, the pitch clock. As for me, I really love it. I've been looking forward to the pitch clock for a while, and I mean, I feel like sometimes it might be a little bit too wise with the 8-second mark thing. That's just me, but I think other than that, speeding up the game with no dead time, 4+ hours of games, I think it's very impressive for the sport. What's your thoughts, Jason, on the pitch clock? Because I don't think I have heard your comments on it in this show about it.
Well, I heard a couple of the games where we've had the pitch clock violation happen to us, and it counts as a ball to the pitcher. So he didn't even throw anything yet, and he's already up 1-0 on the count already. I'm like, wait a minute. So that's this violation. He gets a ball, and then if the batter is in violation, he gets a strike. So I don't know. I think the pitch clock was a great idea, but I think it needs to be more controlled. I don't know
how
you can control it. But I
I was just thinking like 15 seconds and that's it. Like no 8 second mark thing, just like 50 seconds go after.
yeah, maybe. But I mean, it's like I mean, I'm listening to the games on the radio, so I don't actually see the pitch clock. But if I happen to see a game where it was on the screen of where the scoreboard was on the television screen and the countdown clock, and I'm like, oh, okay. But then it's like it takes even less time for the batter to have to get that pitch
Yeah,
from what it was. I'm thinking, like you said, 30-second clock, pitch number
50
one,
second.
50-second, like pitch number one, clock stops. Then the
Mhm.
clock will start again. Once it hits zero,
The violation. And, yeah,
violation. Exactly. Should be like that. But
and not the 8 second thing. I don't really agree with that
where
much.
the 8-second thing comes in, and
Yeah,
then you got to. I don't know. If this is the first time that they're trying it, there's going to be some errors and some tweaks till they
yeah.
get it right.
Like Rafael Devers became one of the first players in the regular season history to get a violation.
Hmm.
Um, but when speaking of the radio, Jason, the Mets game was going on in the last episode for episode 2 when I was out. How were you able to still listen to the game while we're broadcasting?
Because also too, I could get the scores from Yahoo. Um,
Okay,
or yeah, the Google scores. So even though I had the radio going on through my speakers, and it
okay,
wasn't there, I was still able. What happens is if you go on Google Sports, and just type in whatever games you're playing, usually there's about a 5 second or there's a minute delay between each update on
yeah,
the XM and then on Google. Google is going to give you the score the faster than XM. It takes XM a little bit longer to catch up. So any
yeah,
score updates come in quicker on Google than they do on XM. And so I
yeah.
figured it out, and that's how I was able to get a score update like several times.
Okay,
but
not the bell.
since there's no game today, and I can't give an synopsis of the home opener because their idea was,
Yeah,
well, we'll get into that later. But yeah,
I mean, thank God for no extra innings for the Red Sox Tigers. So there you go.
no
Uh,
16 inning games, huh?
or 18 rather.
18 or yeah, right.
Are you planning to go any Mets games like in person this year?
And even get into New York, huh? New York is such a
Oh,
bad place right now. I don't see myself going up at all. Not until any of this stuff clears. It's until the crime. Now Queens, I might stay. Well, that's where I would go
that's what I
anyway.
meant.
Yeah, but even at that rate, City Field has its bad areas. I mean, Flushing has its bad areas, and you just got to
Mm.
watch. But no, I ain't going up to New York anytime soon. I have no reason to.
And as for like you listen to the games on the radio, do you sometimes tune into the television broadcast with the
I could, but there I would have to pay extra for them because they're on either like
yeah,
Spectrum, like the MLB package, or even with the Florida games, I'd have to pay extra for it because we don't have that sports package. So,
that's
or
why you listen to the
paying for the
radio.
radio, yeah. I'd rather do it that way. I like Howie Rose. I mean, not saying that the SNY crew is bad or anything. They're great. I love it. I like them, but I just like just listening to it in the dark and
That's
feeling
it.
like you're right there.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
oh,
do you guys now, Eric? You said you had a favorite National League team before, right? Is it the
It would
Dodgers?
be the Dodgers. Yeah, definitely the Dodgers because they had that old school tradition. Some of the best players weren't on that team at one point. Guys
Hmm.
like Laurel Hershiser, Kurt Gibson, you know, Steve Garvey. A lot of great players on that team. And plus, it's L.A. You see a lot of
Yeah.
celebrities and all that. So
Do
the
you tune
Dodgers.
into Dodger games from time to time?
No, I never attended any Dodger games. I was just,
No, I mean like watching them on TV,
I
not
never
like in
get, I
person.
never get a chance to watch them on TV as much.
Yeah,
what
because
channel?
they're like on
What
the West
channel do
Coast.
you get the Red Sox game on, Eric, in your area?
My area is Nesson. Nesson has the games.
Yes.
What
New
channel
England,
is that?
New England Sports Network, Channel 51 here in New Bedford.
And where by you, Dennis? David, same.
Uh, Well, for me, it's channel 774.
Wow.
Still Nesson.
Okay.
Um, so I'm gonna get to the rest. Here are the eight most interesting players for you to watch this season. If you watch other MLB teams like me, um, Anthony Rendon with the Angels, who keeps getting hurt over the dang time. Uh, Tario Fujiami. He's a Japan pitcher for the Athletics, Joey's team. We have the Corey Seager with the Rangers, Jose Barrios for the Blue Jays, Nico Hornier with the Cubs, Dustin May with the Dodgers, and Blake Snell with the Rays, and Jose Meneghines with the Nationals. Um,
Blake Snell's
speaking of
back
the
with the Rays.
oh, excuse me, the Padres. Why did I have that on there? Um, there we go. That's better. Um, well, speaking of the Rays, actually, they revealed the 2022 wild card banner. I'm just like, why in the world would you show everybody your 2022 wild card banner, the series that you got swept by the Guardians? That doesn't make any sense at all. You're supposed to only show flags of World Series champions and pennant champions. No wild card and no like division champions. Like that
Just
doesn't
like
make
the
any
Red
sense at
Sox.
all.
The Red Sox
Yeah,
had pennant
yeah.
World Series titles.
Yeah, but the Rays decide to show their wild card banners. That doesn't make any sense at all. Uh,
Yeah, I
anyway,
think all the teams have started to do that because it's. I mean, the wild card winner. It means a lot to get to the wild card, even though if you got swept in the wild card itself, it's not an easy
I
thing to get
guess.
to. To win the division's even harder. Wild
Yeah,
card is hard, but division is even harder.
I
At
can
least.
understand with the division at least, but with the wild card, it's just like I don't know. Um, but yeah, getting into the postseason is tough anyway. I mean, with the Red Sox last year, they didn't get in it at all, and with the Mets, you guys almost you
We
almost won the
almost got it.
division, and
Yeah, but we couldn't win the division because of the Braves had the division, even though we finished the same record. They still hold the tiebreaker
yeah,
because so they won the division outright, and it's again those critical games that you look at in September that really hurt us.
yes,
Yeah.
with the Braves getting swept in that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, next news here, Ryan Reynolds, who killed us in the Pirates Red Sox series, extension on hold. Um, let me just tell you this because the other news that we have here is Jay Cronenworth, the Cron Zone, 7-year contract extension with the Padres. The reason why I say that news right away is because the Padres right now. Where's my phone? Um, this is a little rant I have here because I don't understand how the Padres keep getting these contract extensions. We go back all the way to if I thought I saw the pictures here. Oh, there it is. We have Manny Machado uh contract extension until 2023. I mean 2033 for 41 years of age. Fernando Tatis Jr. until 2034 for 36 years of age. Sander Bogarts to 2033, 41 years of age. Yu Darvish to 2028, who was a pitcher, to 42 years of age. We have Joe Musgrove to 2027, 35 years of age. And now we have Jake Cronenworth to 2030, 37 years of age. If you look at the numbers here for the money, we have Machado with 350 million, Tatis with 340 million. We have Bogarts at 280, which should be over 300 million, but I don't know. Udavris with 108 million. Musgrove with 100 million, and Conworth with 80 million. I just don't know how the Padres keep getting these contract extensions. Where with with teams like the Pirates, they can't even get a contract extension with Runnels, where it's on hold right now. Who just killed us in the Pirates Red Sox series. I just don't get how the Padres keep spending these money with contract extensions, but other teams like the Pirates, something the Red Sox only did in our season with Devers, and Yoshi, they, you know, the Yankees only did it with Judge, and the Mets, Karn keep getting those top free agents, almost getting Correa. They got what else the Mets got, and what other top free agents, Jason, did he get in the offseason?
As far as who the
Like the
Mets,
top free, like what the top free agents he got in the
Hmm.
offseason.
I think he didn't he get Verlander.
Yes, he got Justin Verlander.
So you got Verlander and Quincera, I guess, or Quinones, that guy
Yeah.
who was injured too. I think those were the only two that he got. Basically, well, Alvarez was basically from last year, and I think he's coming back to play in the home opener this tomorrow.
Yeah. Eh,
Narvarez, the catcher.
yeah.
I think he brought him over.
And
Um,
right after the offseason, they extend Edwin Diaz to a
they
non-contract
extended his
extension.
contract, but he's now out because of that injury. So
Yeah,
you know, there was the
I just
big
don't.
article. Oh,
I just don't get like with certain teams like the Pirates, I guess Diamondbacks, like the poor teams, they can't get those on superstar contract extensions. Even with the Red Sox, only get with Devers, so they have a whole bunch of money with the Red Sox, like one of the top market teams for the Red Sox. They can literally get that contract extension with the whole bunch of money they have. But with the Padres, they just keep getting, these non-contract extensions. Same with the free agents they got. But certain teams can't do that. Certain teams, even the Red Sox, I just don't get it.
the question could be answered very simply: if you have the money and you go
And,
for it,
and they
yeah,
and they
money's
have the money.
if they have the
They
money,
have the
then they can do it. But sometimes these players, it takes a lot of money to get them to that team, and as you see over the course, there was a big article uh, saying now the Mets are too old because we got a lot of guys on the injured list. And then
yeah.
you look at the pitchers who left our team over the course of the 3-4 years, like DeGrom. He's gone now over to Texas. Uh, what's his name? Steve
Uh,
Matz.
mhm.
He's pitching fantastic. You got Seth Lugo now goes to San Diego and is pitching
Yeah,
full time. He just left last year.
yeah.
So they didn't want to go, let him go. But of course, what do they have? Stellar years. The Mets seem to just think that we gave away these guys, but we don't give them what they want, and then they leave.
I,
So
what's your
again,
thoughts, Eric?
you know,
Uh, what's your thoughts, Eric, about why certain teams can't push it when they have the money, or you know,
Very good question. Like our Red Sox, we should have paid Devers. I mean, not Dave. We paid Devers.
Bogars?
Bogarts. We should have paid Bogarts more. Now
Yeah,
it's affected because we had Trevor Story on the IL still,
yeah.
and and the defense has gone down a little bit because we've been we're last in defense, and we need to work. Our score is not very happy about it. We need to work on that. So the Sox need to work on that.
Hmm.
So and they
I
keep
mean,
getting
Trisha Casas is playing great first base recently.
yeah. I know it was a couple of balls they didn't scoop up, and I think the
Yeah,
arrow's more on the throw by the shortstops or something like that. So I think, man, Tristan Cassis is young too, so
yeah.
that's why I'm cutting him a little bit of slack. But I think mostly it's like in the middle infield because you're shuffling around between Arroyo now Chang, and you put Chang on shortstop and everything else. It's like
Tapia in the outfield.
the topping in the outfield. I'm talking more like the infield. I'm going to talk the infield. The
Yeah.
outfield's not that bad. Outfield's pretty cool. It's the infield that probably has needed a little bit more work on than anything, because you're rotating between Hernandez, Arroyo, and Chang. You know, it's because those are
Yeah.
your three main infielders. The outfield's pretty
Yeah.
decent. Like I said, they do at the deep. But going back, I don't know why, a lot of players demand a lot of money,
Yeah.
and ownership either refuses to pony up, or they're trying to spread it around to make sure that they get the decent players they need. I mean, over the years, earlier on, before the Red Sox broke the curse, Yankees like to spend, 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 spend.
Troy Spinebrenner. There you go.
You know, the Yankees love to spend, spend, spend their money, and so that's really what they picked up, A-Rod.
Yeah.
After that trade, and they signed him to a humongous deal. So, but the
Yeah.
Red Sox, didn't have to do that. And they ended up winning the World Series in '04. They won in '07. We don't necessarily need. I think in owners' minds, we don't necessarily need to have an all-star team, so to speak. We just get good, a team that's well-rounded with quality players, young veterans, and you got a few stars here and there. You know,
That's why they picked up like the ball for a veteran.
yeah,
You
and
know.
Duvall's been doing great. Duvall's
Yeah.
been great. Yoshida, he's there for the Sox for 5 years, and he'll work on
Yeah.
his stuff. And we had Raffy, who's trying to live up to what he has been doing over the years. We
Yeah.
signed over a $310 million deal or something like that for the next decade. So
It's also important, I think, like it needs time to develop that player. You know.
yeah,
Um. But
I
or
mean,
just
the
something.
only, the only mistake the Red Sox made for high selling was Rusney Castillo. We
Mm-hmm.
pay probably the highest paid minor leaguer in baseball history with 70 some odd
Yeah.
million bucks. Like, and he didn't do nothing for Boston, and he didn't even make the team for Boston. Like, what the heck, you know?
And how come the Angels are not paying Sohei Ohtani right now? He is the best baseball player on this planet right now, as we
Well,
speak.
if the Angels could start winning games and start winning championships, maybe it will bring more money in, more fans in, and that could be one of the reasons why. You
Because if I were the Angels right now, even though they got players like Connor Rifle, and other players, um,
know?
they really need to get this basically in their minds. Like, okay, we have Otani, we have Trout, the two best players on our team. Let's push it. Go to the trade deadline. Make a bunch of moves in order to go to the playoffs. They need to extend Otani at some point. And because if they don't, it's going to be making them up like a fool.
Yeah,
And, you know, especially if they choke this season again, if they don't make it to the playoffs again, I don't know what Angels fans will think of that because I guess they got used to it, but this season is important for them. Otani
yeah,
is in his last year for his contract. He's done everything he can to support your team. Here's the reason why, along with Trout, has made your team irrelevant. Because without them, your team, you know, it's not that important.
yeah.
I just,
You lose major off. You lose major weapons with those two. Like the Red Sox, we lost major offensive weapons in Bogarts and JD Martinez.
yeah,
You
and I just, I just don't get it. When certain teams can't, when they have a whole bunch of money in their budget, they can't push for it, even though they have billions of dollars. And but I just don't get it.
Plus, to get the luxury tax too, and there's a limit in that, and that is another factor going
Some
into.
teams go over the luxury tax,
Yeah, and you know,
but pitching also is important to develop.
so you
Um,
better pray your players develop, because if they don't,
yeah.
yeah,
On opening day this past March 30th, we have four pitchers had 10 strikeout games. So Tony Webb, Cole, and Cheats. So very interesting right there. We have the San Francisco Giants are in agreement with a minor league deal to Gary Sanchez, was previous on the Yankees and the Twins.
Gary
Um,
Sanchez, that's a huge pickup for them if they can get him up to the main team.
yeah,
Right now, I know Buster Posey has been the main
he's a,
catcher.
yeah. Well, actually, Buster Posey retired.
Oh, he did? I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Yeah, so
after
you
the
need to
21
get
season.
a catcher. Sanchez is the guy.
Hmm. Yeah, Posey retired after 21.
Oh,
Um, Here are the MLB important dates to look out for. We have the Cardinals and Cubs for the London series from June 24th to 20, which I believe that was supposed to play back in 2020 before the pandemic. We have the All Star game in Seattle on July 11th. Postseason October 3rd to the 4th. And we have some honorable mentions for other games as well for the series. We have the Mexico series with the Giants and Padres for April 20th, Weed to April 23rd. And we have the Little League Classic with the Phillies and Nationals on August 20th. Which I don't understand why the Nationals like go solo, but like I said, certain teams just don't want to do it for some reason. Um, Now, by the way, I'm gonna talk about this. The walk-off home run by the ball on Saturday. I could not believe it. With that ending, Orioles that fielder, you know, it was I forgot what it was. Can't remember the score at the time, but it was a 1-1. It was a 2-1 ball. Actually, a 1-1 ball game,
yeah. I think it was
and
8-7. I think it was
eight
eight
to
to seven.
seven.
It was 8-7. The Sox were losing, and then that home run. Here's McKenna for the Orioles. He had they had that game in the bag. If
Yes,
McKenna
he
had
did.
dropped him off, you know, Orioles would have took a 2 out of 3 against Boston. It's
Yeah,
opposed opposite. And when McKenna dropped the ball, even the
he
relief,
dropped,
you know, because
and
he wasn't
then
paying attention because he was still looking up, and the ball actually fell in his glove when he turned around. He dropped it. So
he didn't use his other hand. He didn't use his other hand.
yeah, he did.
You're supposed to use both hands. Keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah,
But
one hand with the gloves and the other to make sure you close it in.
yeah, that's. Are you blind? Like seriously, you drop the ball and then looks like and the two pitchers there. That should be out. It's a home, and that ball is gone. Walk off for the Sox.
Yeah, they had to
And
replay that to make sure because he had that shelf there. If it hits that
yeah,
shelf, it's on top of that shelf. It's a homer. So that's what happened.
that game, I was so happy they won because that was like a must win for me because losing the series to Orioles would have been bad. The next day, I got tickets to the Red Sox, which played during the same time as Red Sox. So I wanted to see a game where the Red Sox win their first win of the season. If they lost that game, I would have been devastated. But to see that happen, the ball hitting that walk-off home run, which he actually hit another home run today,
Yep.
this is unbelievable of how that game ended. Something I will
Duvall
never forget.
Duvall's on a tear right now. And if he stays
Yes.
healthy, keeps going, might see him hit 30 home runs, probably 35.
Yeah. So if you know if you want Fenway's on your team, he's one of them. Great hitter like that and just unbelievable. I was very happy about that one.
Yeah.
Um by the way, Kevin Lucas, one of the announcers in the booth, he's actually doing pretty well
It
for an
reminds me a
announcer.
lot of it reminds me of a cross between Jerry Remy and Dennis Eckersley. He
That's a
got
bit calm.
uh, because Jerry he's got that humor like Jerry Remy does, but at the same
Hmm.
time he's got that baseball jargon and knowledge like Eck does. And like Jerry Remy
Yeah.
was a former second baseman for not only for the Sox but for the Angels as well. So he's got a combination, hodgepodge of all that knowledge. So Kevin Youkilis and
Yeah.
Dave O'Brien do an excellent job. Excellent job on
Yeah.
commentary.
And that's one of the main reasons why Nicholas was there in the first place was because with Remy passing away, one of the first things he said when I saw him announce is because he wanted to bring back humor, and he's been doing a fantastic job. I mean, last year was a learning experience for him, you know, and with this
Middlebrooks,
year,
Will Middlebrooks has been decent too.
oh yeah, but the post game, pre game,
Yeah,
he's been doing very well with that. I
they did
think we
a
might.
couple of spring training games though as well.
Yes, he did. I
So
actually have I actually have a signed ball of him
yeah,
from the weekend.
yeah,
Um,
Middlebrooks. A lot
isn't
better.
he isn't he the Iron Man for the Red Sox? Like play the most games in a row or something for the Red Sox.
I
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I thought I heard something about that. Uris with the Brewers on 6 to 8 weeks. Um, Derek Jeter to replace Frank Thomas in the MLB pregame and postgame MLB on Fox. So it's Cheater now is going to be with Alex Enriquez on MLB on Fox, along with David Ortiz, which is going to be very interesting to see how they get it on because with all the media stuff with them back in the day, we'll see how that works out. Trevor uh, Plovey 1 year minor league deal with the Twins. Um, the Guardians Mariners game a couple of days ago was 2 hours and 3 minutes. Dodgers Trace Thompson had 3 home runs and all in the same velocity versus Colorado. A 3 homer day for him. That was a sweet thing to see. The Braves are retiring Andrew Jones, who was a fantastic athlete, who also played in the World Series versus the Yankees at 19 years old, I believe. 19 years old
The
versus the
youngest
Yankees in the World Series,
youngest player ever in the World Series, if I'm not mistaken. And
which
they,
is unbelievable. I
he
mean,
was he was
imagine that at
he was quite
that's
the phenom back then.
yeah, and I mean at that age in that old stadium, Yankee Stadium, one of the most historic stadiums of all time. You go in there, play in the World Series at that age, hit a homer there. That's absolutely unbelievable. Nobody today, I think, will probably ever do that again. Um, you have the Brewers home opener had a flyout, but without a roof.
Mm.
MLB has issued Anthony Rendon to a 5 game suspension after a altercation with almost sapping the fans who called this Rendon call him names.
Yeah, that situation, Anthony Rendon shouldn't have put his hands on the fan. And I just it's like ignore the fans, ignore the haters,
Yeah,
do your job. Don't worry about the fan and what they say about you. Don't worry about when
we
you
all know about the haters, Eric. We all know
yeah,
about the haters.
definitely. And but physically putting your hands on them, even though sometimes we like to physically put our hands on our haters, but it doesn't fly though. It won't fly in Major League Baseball. I think it's a reasonable suspension, 5 games.
Yeah,
You know, I think Anthony Rendon, everything's starting to get to him a little bit. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah,
When he had that called third strike, he did not say it. When he was with the Washington Nationals, he did not say a word. He just tossed the bat, took off a glove, didn't even look at the umpire and say anything. And the umpire ejected him from the ball game. He's like,
yeah,
don't say anything.
yeah. Power hitter Yadon Alvarez is the fastest Astros player to reach 100 home runs. And a few days ago, the other day, Manny Machado struck out on the pitch clock violation. The tallest towel fitting. Orioles called up top prospect Gracian Rodriguez. A few days ago, has called him up top prospect pitcher, which we expected to see coming up this season. Cardinals manager decided to not put to put O'Neill, Tyler O'Neill, to the lineup after ending out at home. Chad System left the game the other day to a permanent injury after signing to second base. And run over. We'll see what happens with him. Hopefully, nothing too major. Liam Hendricks has had his final um, therapy session yesterday after 5 months of treatment, so he is cancer free.
Yay. Liam
Uh,
Hendricks. Liam Hendricks.
yes.
Yeah, White Sox are going to need him. So,
Hmm. All thoughts and prayers go to him, and congratulations on this final session. The Royals are hosting a retirement ceremony for Lee Seung Kane on May 6th.
Lorenzo Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you know about him.
Yeah.
Um,
Very, very good player, too. For
mhm. All right, so that is it for all the news, and now we are going to go to our next segment, which is the reports of the week. Um, we're going to go to Chester first, and then we'll go to Joey. So, Chester, take it away, and hopefully you'll feel better.
This is Jester and Chains here, and this is the weekly report for the Houston Astros. Right now, they are third in the league. They are 3-4. At home, they are 3-4. So far, the games, the Astros managed to split the series with the White Sox to 2-2. Their series with the Tigers had the Detroit leading the Astros 2-1. So the next couple of games will definitely tell a tale, as the Astros will take on the Minnesota Twins, and then April 10th to the 12th they'll be taking on the Pirates, and they will be taking on from the 14th through the 16th the Texas Rangers. Now, the Astros are without key players. They are without Altuve, and they are without Michael Brantley. So, what we need from Alex Bregman is for him to step up. We definitely need offensive. Let's take a look at the stats. The 2023 hitting stats for the Houston Astros so far, as we are your reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champions. We got Kyle Tucker with 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. We got Jordan Alvarez with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. Chas McCormick with 1 home run, 3 RBIs. Let's take a look at their averages for right now. Kyle Tucker is batting at 3.3. Jordan Alvarez a 3.48. Chas McCormick a 2.86. Jeremy Pena a 2.94. Jose Abreu is batting a 3.45. Alex Bregman, like I said, is batting a 1.38, which is not good. Yanar Diaz, the catcher, nothing. Mauricio Dubon is batting 200. David Hensley is batting a 236. Corey Jolks, batting a 316. Martin Maldonado is batting a 200. And Jake Myers is batting a 200. So far, the Astros are struggling, but hopefully we can pick up the pace, because right now they are third And it's until we get Altuve back, the pitching definitely needs to be better. Let's take a look at the pitching. Framber Valdez was the losing pitcher. Christian Javier has won 1. Hector Nears is 0-1. Luis Garcia is 0-1. And Ryan Presley is 0-1. Let's take a look at their ERA. Framber Valdez's ERA is 1.50. Christian Javier is 3.27. Brian Abreu, 2.25. Rafael Montero, 4.50. Hunter Brown, 7.71. And Hector Nears, 4.15. So the pitching also is going to have to be good. So I'll give it back to you, David.
All right. Thank you, Chester. And we're gonna go to Joey with his report on the Athletics, which actually his series with the Cleveland Guardians was actually very irritating to watch. We had the wild game on game one, the game two with the walk off home run. I believe all games are extra innings, so better the rest of the series to watch. So Joey, take it away.
Okay, Jason, David, Eric, and Jesse. This is my review of the A's so far. I have my notes right here. So, the A's have, as of today, finished their first homestand after 6 games. They reside at 2-6. Not exactly where I had them starting off the season, but besides a 13-1 loss, a 6-0 shutout, and then 2 games in a row where they lost an extra inning, 2 series in a row where they lost games in extra innings, well, you can only get what you can only reap what you sow at this point. The A's have their way of doing things, and looks like they're starting to run the bases better. They're starting to get more walks over strikeouts, and that's just the way things have gone. But of course, you got to make sure that you know what you're doing. And of course, the A's have Mark Kotsay, their manager, trying to lead them back from 16-1-2 showing last season. As for everything else, we have the Rays coming up with a 3-game set, and then they go to Baltimore. The A's are off April 6th, which is tomorrow, which is the date I'm sending this review for the A's. They play a 4-game series against the Orioles after the Rays series in St. Pete. They have the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. Then they go up to Baltimore for the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. And then they fly back on getaway day to come back and face the Mets, which includes the 73 reunion team on the 16th, which is next Sunday. Well, a week from Sunday. But the A's are looking to put the pedal to the metal and at least double, maybe even triple their win total against teams. And they're going to face the 6-0 Tampa Bay Rays, who have gotten off to a 6-0 start and are not looking like they're going to be stopped anytime soon. The A's had a lot of chances in that 3-game set against the Indians, and unfortunately, Guardians, you know what I'm talking about. The Guardians came up big in situations where the A's didn't, including a 12-11 win on Monday, a 4-3 win yesterday for the A's, and then they would go on and lose this one today in extras 6-4, despite coming back and tying the game after being down 4-0 through the first 8 innings. Biggest upstart so far appears to be Kyle Muller, despite only giving up 2 runs today. He looks good, and he's one of the main pieces from the Sean Murphy trade. Because other than that, the biggest impact player so far through this first two series has been Esteury Ruiz. Despite the fact that he's hitting on the 9-hole, he has 3 doubles so far. He's struck out, but he's not your prototypical hitter. He was an afterthought utility player coming from the three-way trade where Sean Murphy ended up going to the Braves. The A's got Manny Pena. They got Kyle Muller. They got Esteury Ruiz from the Brewers, and that was about it. But all 3 of those players on the Major League rosters, so Pena's just still hurt and he hasn't returned yet. So the A's are looking to make good on what they've done recently. With the 2-4 record, standout performer, player of the week would be Esteury Ruiz. He's only hitting .211, but he still provided some pop. He had key hits in the game on April 3rd and April 4th. He did go for 3 today, but he has shown that he is a tour de force when it comes to helping the A's get victories. And any news? So, Blackburn's supposed to come back from injury soon. Snead's probably going to be out until May. But the A's haven't lost anybody else to injuries, so here's hoping that on Friday they have a good start to this series against the Rays, then the Orioles in a few days. Next week, they start up that 3-game set against the Mets, and I know, Jason, you are dying to see what the A's are going to do against your Mets. I can't wait to see that either, considering they didn't start the season 0-6. But I'll let you guys enjoy the show. I will see you guys next week, next Thursday exactly, and I hope you guys have a great Easter if that's the holiday you're celebrating.
All right, thank you very much, Joey. And now we're going to go to Eric Lima to talk about his support on the Red Sox.
Oh, the Red Sox. Brian Bayo and Garrett had a 70 pitch 70 through 72 pitches today in his rehab in a split squad game for his rehab. And I think Garrett Whitlock's doing his rehab start tomorrow, I do believe, for Worcester.
Sea Dogs.
Huh?
The Sea Dogs, actually.
Yeah.
We'll,
So we can't wait to have those 2 gentlemen back with the team. Hopefully they'll add more and anchor the rotation. The Red Sox, like I said, they start out the season against the Orioles. They lost the first game, obviously, and the next 2 games. In April Fool's Day, they came back to win it with thanks to Adam Duvall's game-winning homer, 2-run homer. They also beat the Orioles 9-5, but they ran into some problems with the Pirates. Now, the Pirates are not expected to make the playoffs at all this season. But, the Pirates are a very, very tough team, especially up on offense.
I've heard they got some veteran players.
And no, they got McCutcheon back, which helps them a lot, too. But their pitching is pretty decent because they only gave up 1 run in the next couple of games there, even though they gave up 6 in the first game. So we got swept by the Red Sox got swept by the Pirates, and today, the Red Sox got the Tigers, and they won the first game of that, and the first game of the road trip, the 7-game road trip, 6-3, because they got tomorrow off. They're playing the next 3 games over the weekend, and then you got the Rays. We go into Tampa Bay against the very tough Rays, who have been playing well, right? Obviously, they starting out the season pretty decent at 6-0. So we got a 4-game set against them. The Red Sox got a 4-game set, and then the Red Sox go back to Fenway for another homestand against a was it Friday? Was it the 3rd week of April? The 3rd week of April coming in to get a 4-game set against the Angels. That means they'll see Shohei Ohtani. A 3-game set against the Twins, and then going back on the road in a 3-game set against the Brewers and the Orioles. And that is all I can say. Like I said, Alex Cora has been heard. They have not been, he's not been very happy camper about the Sox defense. I am sure that they'll rectify that. And like I said, without Bogarts, who's been pretty short-handed on the defensive side of things, that kind of hurts it a little bit last year. So kind of hurts it a little bit now that the now that Bogarts is gone. So I kind of hope, and plus the road, plus Trevor Story's a pretty good, decent fielder too, and we're without him as well. So like I said, like I mentioned, and I'm looking forward to the return of Brian Bale and Garrett Whitlock. Once they come back, I think they'll do well. Now Trevor Story, that's a different story. We don't know if he's going to come back at all this season. We'll find out if he does.
A different story.
Uh, that's another story. Another story.
Get it?
That's another story. So I know the Red Sox paid him all this money, and he gets hurt.
Right.
He gets hurt towards last his first season last year. So last season. So
Something he's the team that the Rockies got let go. Who got the same kind of player in Chris Bryant? He got hurt last year, so it's
yeah,
kind of funny.
yeah.
Um,
How things work out. So
yeah.
we'll be give me a second.
All right, and also I think the when Beto and Whitlock comes back, I think we'll be in much better shape. Um, so I think that's something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they play. By the way, that Red Sox Orioles series,
Uh-huh.
they fought back a lot of times. Like the
Yeah.
first game, they almost had a walk off home run. Actually not a walk off home, but they almost talked it off. Either way, just one run shy.
Yeah.
And and then the next day they got revenge with a magical dream scenario. They got fielder of the Orioles, and the rest is history. And then they had a great game on the third one.
Mm.
And uh, which funny enough, let's talk about Chris Sale for a little bit. I think with Chris Sale, he pitched game 2 with the Orioles. He struggled, gave up a couple of homers. Today's game, he actually pitched not terrific, but he played decent. He got his first win.
He got a better
Whatever.
start. His start was
Yeah,
better in Detroit than it was in Baltimore. So he
yeah,
got
and they didn't want.
in that start against Baltimore. He got a no decision. That means he didn't win and he
Yes,
didn't lose, which is a good thing. That's so
yes.
that
Some
so
people forget about that. Got
yeah.
another decision.
When you have a no
Um,
decision, that means you don't get the winner or the loss. The next pitcher does. So
yeah,
Sale held it down. So we'll see what happens. All right.
yeah, and I think that Chris Sale is super important to this team after getting injured for the past couple years. Um, he pitched better today, even though he got, you know, he got the home run. But who hit the home run today, Eric, with the Tigers? I wasn't able to listen to that part. Uh, you're still there, Eric? You're still there, Eric? Okay, never mind. I'll ask him another time. Um, but yeah, he pitched better today, and he's very super important to this team. So, um, Mr. Jason, can you take it away?
All right, thank you, Mr. Dennis. Well, in 7 games, as we go through the first of this week, we see that the Mets are on the losing side and under 500 for the first time in almost 3 years. Come out of Miami with a 5-3, 2-1 loss, 6-2 win, and a 5-1 on Sunday, only to go into Milwaukee 10-0, 9-0, 7-6. Disgusting. I'm supposed to have the home opener today, but due to weather conditions that they figured, oh, well, we're going to have it tomorrow. Mets postponed the home opener today, so they'll be looking at tomorrow at 1:10. Saturday's game will be 4:10, and the Easter Sunday game will be at 1:40, and then we host the Padres 7:10 on Monday. Tuesday on the 7:10 and the Wednesday afternoon game. Then we go to the Athletics for 3 games, which our buddy Joey's going to have fun with that. But I won't give you that synopsis until next Thursday of what's going on with the Athletics until we're all back together and have that. Some news for you right now. some tweets, as they say. Omar Narvaez underwent imaging this morning that revealed a medium to high grade strain on his left calf. He will be placed on the injured list. Typical return, 8 to 9 weeks. So our starting catcher, who I said last week was going to have a great season, now Tomas Nido is the starting catcher. And we all know Francisco Alvarez will now be finally called up due to the fact that we're just hurting our butts here. This is crazy. Another one, Justin Verlander, underwent follow-up imaging today that showed reduced inflammation. He will continue throwing. Additional updates will be provided as appropriate. And we've claimed right-hand pitcher Edwin Uceta from Pittsburgh and optioned him to AAA Syracuse. In addition, we've transferred right-hand pitcher Sam Coonrod to the 60-day DL. So another guy going on the injured list. And that's about all the tweets right now. All I can say is right now at a 3-4 record, nobody deserves a player of the week from me. Considering the fact that if you're not going to show up in Milwaukee, you better be sure.
Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer don't even deserve it because he got tipped for a lot on that game one. Okay, and then Carlos Carrasco. I don't know what's going on with that dude, but he's just looking like he didn't. I don't know. Is it these guys are going to pick up later on when we really need them, or are they going to show us something different? I don't know. But if you're the Milwaukee Brewers right now, and for all you fans out there, if you're a Milwaukee Brewers fan, take what you can get right now. But if you don't show up to the Atlanta and Dodgers series that you're still supposed to be playing and winning against, I have no respect for you at all this season. Okay? Because what you did to us is an insult to injury. We'll recoup from that, but we'll see you again in Citi Field when you come back for the rematch. And that's all I got to say. Back to you, David.
I want to ask you, why does the Mets get hurt all the goddamn time? Like, is this some curse?
I don't know if it's a curse or something, but when you got all that money that Steve Cohen is dishing out, $36 million to get all these players, and then they don't want to perform or they get hurt in some way, either during spring training or first couple of weeks, and they didn't even come back home yet, and they're on the injured list. There was an article I think a couple days ago that stated, "Are we too old? Is our team very old?" Because if you look at the age of our team, it looks like something from 10, 12 years ago where we were an all-star team then, where our players were having the time of their lives in their prime. And now here we are 10 years later and they can't do garbage. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, what is it about pitching in New York that gets everybody so, and then they go to another team and have the time of their lives? There's a question to answer with a question. I don't because if you look at some of those other pitchers that left New York, DeGrom and Syndergaard, Steven Matz, and now Seth Lugo, these guys are all now pitching like they were for us in the beginning, and then they kind of drifted down and everybody lost hope for them. And so now they're going to their other teams and they're having the time of their lives. I don't know if it's the money or the fact that we don't accommodate them. I'm not sure. I don't really know what the front office is looking for. Yes, we're a championship team, but come the trade deadline, July 31st, we better get on the ball and start looking for some more prospects, or call up some of our AAA people from Port St. Lucie, because right now the roster's getting thin. And, now with the home opener tomorrow instead of today, sure, we get the break. But, I think that's why, even if the weather was nice today, I think New York would have taken the day off today. Because, look, they played 7 straight days without a day off. Most teams get that day off after the opening day. So I can understand whether or not, they look like they just too much traveling in that 7 games. Really so much traveling, especially going, from all the way down to Florida, all the way back up to Milwaukee, and then having to hit back to New York on these late flights. I mean, what's going to happen when they have to go on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll get enough rest in between the games, but I don't blame him for not playing today, but I would have loved to seen that home. A lot of people would have loved to seen that home opener today at Citi Field and wish them all the best. But hey, we'll see what happens tomorrow on Good Friday, no less. Friday, after all, for this team that deserves a sweep of the Marlins over the Easter break. So,
Yes. And any updates on Chester Verlander right now?
other than the fact that he's day to day, we'll still find out what's going on with him. I like the Japanese guy Senga. He looked really
the
good
ghost
in
picture.
he looked really good in his his first outing against the Marlins, and I was really impressed with the way he was really handling himself. He got off to a bad start in the beginning, but he finally settled down once things were going, and that forkball of his was just amazing. So I think he's going to be really looking like one of our top rotation guys next to Scherzer. If Scherzer can just get back after his bad outing in Milwaukee, Scherzer's going to have a bad outing once in a while. That's not going to stop him from getting the quality starts that he needs to be a contender like he always is. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Eric, what Tigers player today hit that home run Chris Sale gave up? I can't remember. What Tigers player hit that home run Chris Sale gave up? I can't remember.
Let me look that up.
I was just trying to remember.
I was trying to pay attention to going on here and going on over there.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can.
Which Chris Sale today in the 2-hour and 32-minute game has 7 strikeouts, which is very nice to see. And while assisting to the game, he kept getting those quick outs.
Oh, it's Rogers. Somebody named Rogers. Jake Rogers.
Okay.
Jake Rogers. He's the one that belted that two-run shot off Sale.
And Miguel Cabrera hit that RBI hit, which is an RBI machine. Miguel Cabrera, who's retiring this year. But overall, other than that, Chris Sale pitched well. Where's my mouse?
Did a lot better than his outing with
yeah.
Than when it was with
I think pressure got to him. I think pressure got to him a little bit on the last series. So, but overall, opening week over. Now it's time for the next week. And hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the Dugout Crew, episode number 3. Happy to be back here after my me attending Family Park on opening day, which I didn't get to see the new lights that they have built in, but it's okay. Hopefully, the next game I go to Family Park, which hopefully it will be during my spring break, that I'll be able to see it. Well, actually, it'll be a day game, so technically I won't be able to, but we'll see how it goes. And also depends if they can hit more home runs for me, which they haven't done in over a year. So, anyway, see ya. Don't forget to subscribe to the David Thousand Network for more content like this one.